The winter of 2015 has been challenging in many ways, including for a group of runners training for a half marathon later on this month. They started training together, get this, in January on an evening with a minus 30 wind chill. That's where some would just turn around and say, nah, maybe next year. But the weather went downhill from there. There are 11 in this group, and they train out of the running room in Charlottetown. Island Morning's Nancy Russell caught up with a couple of the runners after their Tuesday night training session.
They're coming.
I'm Cindy Russell. This winter actually has been very challenging. We've had a mixture of all kinds of weather, from snowstorms to rain to beautiful running days, so it's been everything for us.
What was the worst day?
Any amount of snow on the sidewalks where it forced you to go to the roads, where you were just challenged to find a place to run.
What was it like when you went out on the roads?
The roads were great, actually, except for some people are not as polite to heed to you on the road. So, but I find the roads a better surface. It's more consistent, not as hard on your body.
There were some points, though, where there weren't even roads.
That's true. Some days we had to actually just not go as far or just really be careful.
What personally kept you going through the weather this winter, still running?
My running buddies, plain and simple. Yeah. They keep me going.
You're injured right now?
I'm injured, yes.
What's the status of that?
Day by day. Hoping to make it to the WR3 run, but we'll see.
I'm Ann MacArthur, and I'm one of the co-leaders of this group. And it's a group of many different styles and paces of running, I guess. Well, there's a group of us that have been kind of hanging out and running together for a while, and we're called the Turtles, or the Pink Turtles, I should say. And we started out with the Turtles, but now we're the Pink Turtles, and everything we wear is basically pink. And we're slow, so we're turtles. Well, I've been running for this about my third winter running, and this is the worst one so far. There was one run we did on a Tuesday evening or a Wednesday evening, I can't remember, but we ran on the sidewalks, and we kind of had to find sidewalks to run on, and the snow was like as high as we are, so it was very challenging.
Was there any day that you just said, I can't do this?
Well, there was a number of clinic days where I had to actually send out messages to everyone and say, we're not going. I couldn't get my car out. We're just not going running. That's it. We're done. I felt pretty defeated some days.
How did you cope with not having sidewalks or paths or trails?
Well, a lot of times we did run on the trail because a lot of the times the trail was done before the sidewalks. The sidewalks, when they weren't done, we were basically climbing over snowbanks and trying to get past icy patches, and sometimes it was very slow running. Our first night running for this we were running in felt like minus 33 degrees. So it was very challenging with the cold and the snow and everything. It was just quite the winter for running, that's for sure.
Do you know of any people who dropped out because of the conditions?
No one dropped out, but we did have some injuries happen and they couldn't come back. One lady fell in a pothole, I guess it was, and she injured herself, and she still hasn't been running. I think that was like our second long run, so it was kind of bad.
And that was weather related?
Oh yes, definitely. It had to do with the snow. It covered the top of the manhole cover or whatever, and she slipped on it and fell, and she injured herself really bad.
Anybody hit icy patches? Any other wipeouts?
I did. I've hit an icy patch, and the only thing I hurt was my finger, though. So I was lucky. And my friend who was running with me fell behind me, so she looked at me and then she fell too. So we didn't hurt ourselves. So.
What does this mean to you, having a group to train with during the winter?
I love it. I don't think I'd be able to run consistently if I didn't have the group. The group was the main thing for running, and you just have to have that friendship and the social aspect of it. You get out there and you're talking about everything. You don't tell people what you talk about when you're out there running, though.
What's said on the trail stays on the trail?
That's true.
You've come to running as a breast cancer survivor. What has this meant to you?
Oh, it meant a lot, I'll tell you that. I was actually sick, and whenever I got over my treatment that I was doing, I said, I'm going to run. And that's when the running rooms opened. And I came and I joined the Survivor Clinic. And it was my first time running. To run 1 minute was really hard. But now I'm running half marathons. And through this winter of all winters.
I'm Barb Vesey, and I've been running for about 4 years. I started with the Run for the Cure just because I had a friend going through breast cancer. And I had met Ann there, but I never got together as part of the group until this clinic started in January. My husband signed me up for winter running. I do not like outdoors in the winter. So it's been challenging for me to force myself to go out, especially this winter of all winters, to do winter running. Anne and the others have been great inspiration, and having a group to go is motivation to get off your butt and go. The only day that I didn't come that the rest ran was 2 weeks ago on the Sunday. There was a bad snowstorm. I live quite a ways out of town and I just didn't venture in. But they all went out for dinner afterwards, and I was kind of kicking myself that I missed the party. I wore grips on my shoes for the most part. I was a little nervous of slipping on the ice. Not everyone did, but I fortunately had no falls. It was a lot of ice, slush, pouring rain. You know, it's just been a mixture of everything and anything. The biggest thing for me to overcome was the cold. I didn't like, minus 30 wind chill, and we got dressed and ran in that. And among others, when I ran, my very first race was the Run for the Cure a few years ago. And when I was starting to think, I'm not going to be able to finish this, I just looked to the survivors and I thought, if they can do this, I certainly can force myself to, suck it up, princess, and move on and finish the race. And I found them all very inspiring.
And did you have any suck it up, princess moments this winter?
Several. The first clinic night, I was the only one who didn't come prepared to run. I couldn't imagine that they would actually run in minus 30. And I was soon educated that unless it's minus 40 or colder, we're running. So I ran.
Suck it up, princess. That's what I would say next time I'm complaining about the winter weather. That was great. That was Barb Vesey. We also heard from Anne MacArthur and Cindy Russell. You can see some very snowy photos of this running group on our Facebook page, CBC Prince Edward Island. They will be competing in the 7th annual Wear Red Road Race, or WR3 half marathon, happening on Saturday, April 18th in Charlottetown. 21 minutes now past 7 o'clock.